Welcome, everyone. I am honored and thrilled to be here with a great friend and leader that I've learned a great deal from over the years, Mr. David Cook. Hi, David. How are you?
I'm good, Virgil. How are you this morning?
I'm wonderful. Folks, when you meet people as you're doing your service and you're kind of really leaning into doing transformative work, and you just find that person or those people or that group that just you can connect with and resonate with. For me, that was David. When I was a superintendent in Maine, and I met David, and he was leading as the director of innovation for the Department of Ed in Kentucky. Being in the same place and the same space with David and learning from him and his team and his state was just so inspiring. And I continue to feel that today as he has built a new team, a new organization, learning ecosystems design. David, tell me about your team and what you're looking to accomplish.
So, learning ecosystems design is sort of evident in the title. The idea here is that as we've done our work in Kentucky, as we've done things with folks like you and other states, we recognize that building ecosystems is one of the issues that face schools, school districts, school systems across the country. So the intention here is to really help those entities get better at creating a system that is universal across the community, that everybody's involved in it, that it's not just happening 8 to 3 in school buildings, but it's all about how that connects to the community. It also is, I think, a key element in ensuring that competency-based education becomes the centerpiece of what we do in this country, because I think if you're going to be competency-based, you really have to have that mentality, that mindset that says everybody has to be a part of this, not just those of us who are professional educators, but those of us who are part of the educational system of our children.
We at Aurora, as an organization that firmly believes in the power and the impact of personalized and competency-based learning, fully align with that model. But can you tell us a bit, like, what does that look like as you're supporting learning communities in your new role?
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things. A big project that we're working on is in partnership with Educational Testing Service slash MTC, Mastery Transcript Consortium, and Carnegie, around what they refer to as skills for the future. I sub into that portraits of a graduate, skills, durable skills, however you want to phrase it. But at the heart of that, Virgil, is we're trying to help. It's a 5-state pilot of these skills for the future. And the idea here is to really help folks think about the part of competency ed, for instance, that isn't as far along as I think the actual instructional classroom practices are. And that is, of course, how do we measure learning in those systems? And it's also about sort of a little bit of a paradigm flip, as I like to call it, from we teach content to we teach learning skills in the context of content. So it's if we can teach a kid how to learn, and competency-based ed is a perfect way to do that, then we can drop in whatever content we need to, as long as they know how to collaborate, how to communicate, how to be a critical thinker and problem solver, how to be creative. Then all of that will help them with whatever it is they're trying to do. So that's what the Skills for the Future project, it's taking a hold of 5 different states' portraits and sort of talking about what does it look like to measure that learning? Because it can't be measured, as we know, with somebody handing you a piece of paper and saying, bubble in these things, or you don't measure those skills that way. You've got to measure them usually through some kind of a performance event. So it aligns so well with the competency-based approach. So that's probably the biggest thing we have going. The other thing is just working with some organizations, friends of ours in the world, that Virgil, that you know well, Education Reimagined, and some others, on really digging down into how do we help more people create these ecosystems around this same conversation around competency-based education. But how do you help people see that we need this stuff to happen all the time, anytime, anywhere, that we need community members to, and we've done that in Kentucky lately a lot. That's been a kind of a foundational aspect to the work in Kentucky over the last 3 years or so, with our local laboratories of learning and those kinds of things, which is the community has to come first. You have to help design something that the community wants.
Yeah, I appreciate that greatly. And when you were describing your goals for learning ecosystems design and how to be intentionally inclusive and engaging of community and community values and thinking as a design model in respect to like how do we measure what we value certainly aligns to what I've known you to lead in Kentucky and what Kentucky has been doing really well for a number of years and thinking about performance assessments and learning designs in a variety of contexts, certainly in our schools, but throughout community and with industry partners. It's wonderful to hear that it's really blossoming for you. And thinking of 2025, though, David, like, what's your priority? You know, your organization is new and it clearly is growing and blossoming in really beautiful ways. What are you hoping to accomplish in this new year?
So I think what I just mentioned about helping more folks get into an ecosystem design process is key and priority for us. I think the other thing that's kind of I'm getting excited about is I've been involved with a collaborative of some other folks. So after I retired, I decided to become a Gallup certified strengths coach because Virgil, I am fascinated every day when I go to places that have school systems that have implemented sort of a strengths-based approach. And it doesn't have to be Gallup, it could be any of the many, but it's this notion that we're not spending enough time really helping kids with what they're good at. We spend a bunch of time trying to get them better at the things they're not as good at, and not as much time saying, wow, if we really focused on what you're good at. So we have just started with a couple of districts in helping them design kind of a strengths-based model of education, starting with leadership and teachers, and really helping them see how they can better identify the things that their kids excel at, and trying to figure out better ways to provide instruction to them that aligns to that. That's like the next thing after, sort of, we're just building it right now. So I'm working with another group of four leaders of organizations who are coaches, who are former superintendents and other education leaders who are interested in the same things. And we're all just kind of learning as we go, but working together on that idea of what would it do to a school system if everybody was kind of focused, because I've seen it happen. I've seen a district in Kentucky where they did that. Everybody went that way, and it changed dramatically the outcomes for kids.
I believe it. You mentioned a growth mindset earlier on and helping to lead transformation. So focusing on an asset-based strategy just makes so much
That,
sense for
yeah,
young people,
that's
certainly who are still growing and learning, but also for adults, adult learners, family members, community, right? Really thinking
mhm.
about strengths that exist within the community certainly reflects what I know you're looking to accomplish in your learning ecosystems
Yeah.
as organization. Well, I'm grateful that you continued to utilize your wisdom and your experience gained over your years of the department and earlier to help serve communities across the country. I'm just grateful that retirement means you get to lean in this new and exciting way. David, as folks here and are inspired by your work and wisdom, how can they get in touch with you to see how they can lean on your expertise?
First of all, the website is www.led4edu.com, the number 4, led4edu, all lowercase letters. Obviously, that stands for Learning Ecosystems Design for Education. If you want to check me out, I'm fairly regular on social media posts. At David Neal, Neil Cook is my Twitter or X account. And then I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Wonderful, David. Well, I'm just so grateful to call you a partner in learning and a friend.
As am I, Virgil, always.
I look forward to collaborating with you in your new role and with your new team. And thank you. Appreciate you greatly.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you as well.